A hazard hunt. Look around our house, our property, and determine what are the hazards and how can we either eliminate them or reduce their effects.
Now, you'll want to look for things like defensible space to stop a fire from spreading to your home. Also, learn how to turn off your water, gas, and electricity. And decide on meeting points, both near your home and somewhere away from your property, just in case your family gets separated. Now, you'll also want to make an emergency kit. Kennison says the kit needs 3 days worth of food, water, any medicines your family members take, a first aid kit, and pet supplies. Finally, know where to turn for information during an emergency, like here on Channel 2 News or on the radio.
Make a plan, assemble a kit, and stay informed. In other words, to be ready for any hazards that we have in our region.
And for a link with more information about making your emergency plan, just head to KTVN.com. Covering the story live from the newsroom, Ariana Bennett, Channel 2 News.
Okay, Ari, thank you. A community in Verdi is struggling with what may be yet another impact of our ongoing drought. Residents out there are out of water. In fact, they have been for 5 days now. Aaron Breen joins us from the Riverbell Trailer Park tonight with details on the situation and what they're working on as a solution. Aaron, first of all, how many people are we talking about out there?
About 100 people actually live in the Riverbell Trailer Park here, but you know what else is impacted, and that is this market here, the Riverbell Market, and also there is a post office that's up here in this area. They're not exactly sure what happened. It's just like the spring that supplies this area with water ran out of water last Friday.
This is a boil order, and this is dated on the 26th of August.
That's when the problems here began. Since then, folks here have been on notice that the water is not usable at all.
We can't drink it at all, and it has E. coli in it.
Kathy Vanda Bogart is one of about 100 people living in the Riverbell Trailer Park who's had to deal with the shortage.
Rip out carpet and pad.
One of her neighbors is still cleaning up from somehow getting too much water when it turned bad.
It was just like a massive flood, except it was black water.
And health officials say it's hard to tell just what happened.
It could be getting contaminated with a broken sewer line. It could be contaminated by livestock. It could be exacerbated by drought. It's just hard to say. And that's really not where our focus is right now. It's trying to get, our focus is really trying to get, a potable water supply into these residents.
For now, crews are trucking in pallets of bottled water.
They have brought us 2 cases of water and provided the showers.
And they say they're working on a permanent solution, which starts with water that a neighboring trailer park is offering.
We'll be pulling water from across the street to go ahead and put us back where people can be able to use the water. And that's a temporary deal for probably 5 to 6 weeks. And then we will be drilling a new well, and we're going to get into that process. So we'll have a brand new well, and we'll get off the spring.
Now, until that happens, they do have some hand washing stations set up at the post office and here at this market as well. And the market is open for business. They want to make sure everybody knows that. They say that they're selling everything except for fresh fruit right now, which they won't be able to sell until all the water clears up. Covering the story in Verdi, Aaron Breen, Channel 2 News.
A major retailer closes its doors in a Reno shopping mall. Shepler's is gone after over 20 years here. I'm John Potter. What's next for Shoppers Square? We'll take a look coming up.
Hey, I'm Landon Miller. The University of Nevada is now a tobacco-free campus, but despite this, there are still ashtrays and, well, cigarette butts all around. What's the deal? We have that story coming up at 5:30.
But first, supporters of the nuclear deal with Iran are drawing close to preventing Congress from voting it down. Which senator is the latest to support it? After this short break.
You're watching Channel 2 News at 5, Northern Nevada's #1 newscast, with Wendy DeMonte, Kristen Remington, and Mike Alter's Pinpoint 2 forecast.
Looking around the nation, supporters of the Iran nuclear deal are now one vote away from reaching the number needed to prevent Congress from overriding a presidential veto on a bill to block it. Today, Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware became the 33rd senator to back the deal. Now, in order to override the veto, opponents need at least 67 votes in the Senate. So, if 34 senators support it, that becomes impossible. A vote on the deal will be held later this month. Last month, Senator Harry Reid said he would support the deal, while Senator Dean Heller opposes it.
In Money Watch now, it was another down day on Wall Street as the Dow closed down triple digits once again today. The Dow lost more than 460 points and the Nasdaq finished down more than 140 as investors continue to worry about an economic slowdown in China. Oil prices also fell sharply as traders worried China's weakening growth could lower the demand for crude.
Well, the economic growth is bright in northern Nevada, according to a new report released today. According to the Economic Planning Indicators Committee, or EPIC report, which was commissioned by the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada, Washoe, Story, Carson, Douglas, and Lyon counties will gain between 47,400 and 56,600 jobs between 2015 and 2019. Take a look at those numbers on your screen. Now, the report also found the population will increase by 42,400 and 64,700 during that same time period. The report finds the growth is in part spurred by the construction of the Tesla Gigafactory in Story County, as well as the ripple effect its construction has had there. Well, to read the report, just head to KTVN.com and click on the blue News Links button.
Well, the winds are likely to pick up here tomorrow. That increases our fire danger. May also help push some of the smoke out of the area, but hopefully it won't start any new sources of the same. We'll tell you more coming up right after this.
But first, thousands flock to air shows every summer, including here in northern Nevada. But the events have proven deadly recently in Europe. What U.S. officials are stressing to keep Americans safe. After the break.
Okay. Jay, you there?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Jay, how you doing? Uh-oh.
Hello.
Okay, that's better. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oops, I gotta do one thing.
Welcome back, everyone. The Navy's elite Blue Angels will join some of the world's best aerobatic performers tomorrow for the Atlantic City Air Show, of course, in New Jersey.
Of course, hundreds of thousands of spectators are expected to attend, but the event follows a number of deadly air show accidents this year. Andy Guevara has a closer look.
This harrowing scene at an air show in Austria on Sunday shows a pilot lose control and crash near a crowd of 500 spectators. That pilot died, but no one else was injured. It's the latest in a string of deadly incidents that has plagued air shows this summer. On Friday, a pilot practicing for the New York Air Show crashed and died near a runway.
Oh my God!
In England, a week earlier, a vintage plane went down on a road during an air show in Shoreham, killing 11 people.
Every aspect of entertainment is going to have some element of risk.
David Schultz is the organizer of the Atlantic City Air Show, which drew 700,000 spectators last year. He says fan safety is the most important part of every event.
There are stringent rules here, both in Canada and in the United States, with regards to show lines, as well as to areas to where they can fly, energy being directed towards the crowd, that the European standards are not near as strict as what we have here in the United States.
After a pilot died at a South Carolina air show in 2007, the Angels implemented new safety measures.
We do what's called like a crawl, walk, run mentality, where we start out very basic levels and it progresses and progresses until eventually you've got a flight demonstration in the form of an air show that you can deliver as a safe, homogeneous product all over the country. It's all going to be relatively similar.
Unlike civilian pilots, the Angels and the U.S. Thunderbirds perform military demonstrations. Covering the story, Andy Guevara, Channel 2 News.
Man, they're so close together, and you have a chance to see them. The Blue Angels are scheduled to perform at the Reno Championship Air Races next year. This year's event starts 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast, broadcast certified by the American Meteorological Society.
Well, on the astronomical calendar, summer still has 3 weeks left in it. We tend to think in the meteorology world that September 1st marks the beginning of meteorologic fall because this is kind of time of year where things are starting to change fairly quickly. Today, an awful lot of smoke earlier. You can see even over the last hour and a half, 45 minutes, beginning to clear out a little bit. Sky's getting just a little bit bluer. We're seeing our winds pick up a little bit this afternoon. Outside right now, our visibility's increased somewhat. 89 degrees at this hour, relative humidity at 12%, 29-degree dew point. Barometric pressure at 2990. We got a west-northwest wind now at 18 miles per hour. Gusting as high as 23 miles per hour. And they're going to be even stronger tomorrow. High today of 92, the low of 54. This is probably going to be the warmest we're going to see in a long time. In fact, there's a real chance we won't see 90s again for the rest of this year. You never really know. Late September, we can always pop back up there. 54 for our low is actually right on the average. No precipitation. What's happening here is we're seeing this low. It's fairly nicely wound up here. It's beginning to dive down the coastline of British Columbia. It's going to be off the Pacific Northwest tomorrow, and it's just going to bring all this flow that's now too far to the north of us to really do too much and begin to drop it on down toward our area. As it does so, that front's going to come across us. Now, we're just going to see a little bit of cooling tomorrow, and then we're going to see much more cooling on Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday, where we see another front come through the area. We're going to see our high temperatures drop down about 20 degrees on Saturday from where they were here today. Tomorrow, probably the mid-80s. The winds will pick up. We're going to get near that jet stream. So blowing dust is an issue, obviously, as is the fire danger. 70s, 80s, or 90s, depending on your elevation in the southern half of the state. We'll see mostly things dropping down into the 80s up here along the north. So again, it's kind of half the cooling coming tomorrow, the rest of it on Thursday. Temperature-wise, 55 in Reno tonight. High tomorrow down to 85 here, 82 in Carson City with mid-70s at Lake Tahoe. Here's what we can expect to see then tonight for Tahoe. Should be clear skies, still hazy out there, however. Decreasing overnight winds, a low of 39. Probably less smoke tomorrow, but more wind. We'll see a lake wind advisory for most of the day. Southwest winds 15 to 20, gusty to 30, and a high of 70. For Reno, we'll see some haze tonight, clearing out overnight, 55 for your low, decreasing winds. Then the winds coming up in the afternoon, that red flag warning from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., a high of 85. Southwest winds will be 15 to 25 miles per hour, local gusts as high as 35. Still breezy, even cooler on Thursday with the highs dropping into the 70s, then down into the low 70s even by the time Saturday rolls around, but I still don't see any showers coming out of any of these systems. All right, let's go out and see what's happening on the roads out there. Jay Rodriguez with the Alice 96.5 Traffic Center joins us now. Jay, how are things shaping up out there?
Well, Mike, crews just cleared a vehicle accident with injuries in Reno on I-580 southbound at Mill Street. However, the traffic is still working its way up to being at normal speed, so expect delays or choose an alternate route. NHP remains on scene of a vehicle accident in Sparks on I-80 eastbound near Rock Boulevard, and from what I can see on the traffic cams, it is causing some slight delays, so be alert and drive with caution. There's a road closure in Sparks on Victorian Avenue between 15th Street and Pyramid Way for the rib cook-off, so choose an alternate route. I'm Jay Rodriguez. Drive safe, Nevada.
It's not easy for old shopping centers, especially one that's been here for over 50 years. I'm John Potter. Shepler's closed its doors at Shoppers Square. We'll take a look ahead for what's next for this center after the break.
I'm just the only tease. It's the State of the City speech tonight, and we talked to some residents about how they feel about Reno, what's going well, and what they think needs to be worked on.
The hour's not showing up on this battery. It's mostly full.
Yeah, I think they freak out during live shots.
They just know we need them to work perfectly. God damn it, the sun keeps coming.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. We're like right in.
Welcome back, everyone. In Money Watch tonight, Shepler's in Reno is no more. The Western wear chain was bought by the Boot Barn chain back in June.
And as John Potter reports, this new consolidation means another empty space for Reno's Shoppers Square.
Shepler's opened here over 20 years ago, back in 1994. It closed on Saturday night. It doesn't look like it now with its many vacant stores and lack of customers, but there was one glorious time when Shoppers Square was Reno's modern shopping mall, and one man has been with it since the beginning.
It just basically came down to they had more lease term left on the Boot Barn location where they are and than I had here. So
Rick Kazaza has been through the same kind of story many times before. Shoppers Square has seen a who's who of stores come and go.
Lawrence's department store, Bob's Big Boy, Spud Nut Donut Shop, Hobbytown, Marion's Flower Shop.
Ground was first broken in 1962. That's Rick when he was 5, next to his grandfather who built the mall on his farm. Shoppers Square opened in 1964. It was big for its day.
It was very, very strong. Skaggs, this was Skaggs store number 6. It was Mayfair Market's one of their very first stores. It was a lot of fun hanging around here.
There were once 52 stores here, not so many now. Porta Subs opened here over 40 years ago. Manager Grace Nora has seen many stores close in that time.
Maybe their brand is not recognizable. Everybody knows Porta Subs. We started here, so I think that helps me.
And down the hall, Kirby Liu at Magic Touch Photo Studio says the lack of customers actually helps his business. He wanted a quiet place to work.
Maybe it's better for us because I don't like a lot of noise.
But he says something has to be done to bring Shopper Square back to its former glory.
There are a lot of open spaces for a long time. That's not good for mall.
There are no takers for Shepler's space yet, but with its closing, Rick is planning on a big draw to fill a big space.
We need something that really drives traffic, and love to see some sort of grocery store, something like that that's for your daily needs.
And if that happens, some new life for this Reno mainstay's next 50 years. Covering Money Watch, John Potter, Channel 2 News.
It's the State of the City speech tonight, and we talked to some residents throughout Reno about what's going well and what needs improvement. What they had to say coming up next.
I think they're trying to clean up downtown. Midtown's nice, so that's a step in the right direction.